and we're going to be live in a moment. So I'm just going to start talking because I think it tends to go live already. Welcome, everybody, to the Staying Sane podcast. My name is Albert Nurnberg. I'm here with hypnotherapist Cassandra McLean. We're both hypnotherapists, and we are talking about, I have to turn my volume down.
We are talking about the end of 2025, the beginning of 2026, which will extend and carry on through the years as just saying one year is ending and another is beginning. How can we lean into this reality and take advantage of having a blank canvas in front of us? For many people, their number one goal, if I could change one thing, it would be my weight.
That's right. So that's what we're leaning into, weight loss and exercise to begin with. And I want to mention something kind of interesting is that every year, and I think I would count myself as one of these people, there are people who say at this time of year, I don't do New Year's resolutions. That's for people who follow the herd. But there is research that shows that even people who say they don't do New Year's resolutions do New Year's resolutions because you've had this big pause to think about your life, and now you're going to act on that one way or the other. So doesn't it pay to be more organized, to be more structured, to be more thinking about your plan rather than just falling into it when January happens? And I should point out that January is coming very soon.
Very soon.
So,
and maybe even when you hear this, it's already January.
Yes. You might be hearing this in January, which would really feel weird. So
it does. It feels weird. Oh my God, it's 2026 already. Wait, the year 2000 was 26 years ago. What? How old am I? That starts to creep up, right? And we want to take out any of the anxiety or panic that might come along with that and replace it with feeling something useful to you, which would be optimism, even looking forward to, man, this is great. It's the start of a new year. I can clear whatever has been coming and lingering and glomming on to me from 2025. I was about this and that and this relationship and it ended and blah, blah, blah. I can choose to say, hey, I'm leaving this stuff in 2025 and I'm starting something fresh and new. Why? Because you can.
Not only that,
all are participating in something ended, something new is beginning. It's happening. So
there's a saying. I would just add to what you're saying. There's a saying in NLP that if you don't make a plan, the universe makes plans for you. And this is really true. This is exactly why we are doing this today. If you don't make a plan for the new year is still going to make a plan for you. Things are still going to happen. Things you might perceive yourself as being left behind. You're still going to feel anxious and worried. So having a plan is a distinct advantage. So maybe I would throw that to you or to both of us.
Sure. How the value of a plan.
How does one plan for 2026?
Great. I think it's important to always speak to the elephant in the room that we haven't even seen, which is over the last year, AI has integrated more into our lives, and all of the apps and social platforms that we've been using for years have gotten exponentially better at keeping us glued to them. How has this affected our mental, emotional, psychic, neurological lives? It has. The attention span, everybody's like, my ADHD. You don't have ADHD. You've shaken your mind around like a Etch-a-Sketch, and it's not anybody's fault, but it is the world we're living in. So when we ask, how can we make a plan? For many, many, many people, I'm going to guess, the first step is like the 12 steps of AA. The first step is to admit you're not good at making plans. You're probably not the type of person who's like, I love clearing my desk, sitting down and opening a blank page. I'm not distracted by any tabs. My phone it's in the other room. When I sit down to focus, I am focused. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to think it through. What do I want for myself? Well, how would I begin with that? All right, let me type that out. Now, what would I need to do next? Even if you get that far, which is great. As soon as you get to that question, well, what would come next? Let me Google it. And then whoops, there goes 3 hours. So step one to making a plan is to realize I need help to really make a plan. I'm not going to do it on my own. I'm going to think I can, and I could use ChatGPT, and then talking about the dream I had last night and consulting it about what really was the real source of World War I. Just like rabbit holes, rabbit holes. So I would say the best way to make a plan is with the help of another person. Now, if you have a friend who's like an accountability buddy or somebody that you just have like a good relationship, like, hey man, you want to like come over and we'll just like silently for 30 minutes kind of journal together about what we're up to and help each other. Man, those are great friends to have. If you don't have that, just fucking hire somebody. Excuse my language. You
I
need
would
to
add
hire
to that.
somebody.
I would add to that, consider, so these are things that people do. So let's be very clear here. So what we're saying is that the world is trying to make you unfocused. That should is what you
And
said. The
it's
world's
doing
trying to
a
make
phenomenal job at it.
is doing a better job than ever of making you unfocused. How do you fight that? One by focusing, deciding to be focused. Two, there are things that people do that are actually really effective. Like, this sounds ridiculous, like vision boards. That's where you actually kind of create a board or at least a basic meeting where you visualize or vision the year to come. So you try to plan, and sometimes people, this is the moment where people go, that works for other people, that's not for me. We know as hypnotherapists, it is always an advantage to be visualizing a plan or the future. It actually does work. If you don't like it, you may be doing it the wrong way for you. But there is a way for you that should work. Two, I would say recognizing a commitment to times of focus. So,
Mm.
so yes, there might be a time in your life where you're scrolling and distracted and you're allowed to do that. But you may decide at a certain time, like when you're doing this is going to be focus time, and we're not going to scroll or we're not going to Google because that will cause distraction. And we are training ourselves that every time we focus, we get distracted. And that is actually becomes actually a brain circuit. Every time I focus, I get distracted. You do not want that to become semi-permanent. You want that to change.
Albert,
So,
this is genius insight that you're offering us here
mhm.
right now. And I've been studying recently as yesterday, going deeper into NLP anchors and recognizing like something in my understanding of NLP and anchors really clicked. And I was like, oh, I get this on a much deeper level now. And it had something to do with the example of when the traffic light turns green, your foot presses the gas. There's this Pavlovian element to anchors and eliciting desired states, or unconscious anchors that just happen to naturally spring up that then spin us into undesired states. And I think it's true for myself, and I think it's true for many people, that because of what you just said, I've created both the kinesthetic and visual anchor that my laptop is where I go to engage in nonsense and just kind of anything and everything all at once with no rules, no restrictions, no limits. I just do whatever I want on this thing, and what I quote unquote want to do isn't really being determined by me. Not if I'm centered, grounded, and caring about my life and my future. No, it's the unconscious child me who just wants to like look at things and learn things and flashing colors and sounds and music and I'm totally hijacked when I'm in front of this machine. Unless, for me, again, I'm highlighting my point, I need somebody with me. Like here right now with you, I'm not distracted at all. I'm not even tempted to go look at
Good,
online shopping,
good.
right? I'm here with you. We're here together.
Not
And
tempted.
I will share that this is a good tip to act on. You know, one of the pieces of advice that we have offered here before on the Staying Sane podcast, where we discuss how to stay sane in an insane world, the importance of relationships, of other human beings, IRL connections, and cultivating deep friendships. I have a friend in my life, and we have these sessions where we work together, but it's a Zoom call. We do not talk to each other. We just decide, okay, in this hour-long call, we're going to be on Zoom together. I'm going to accomplish this, and she's like, I'm going to accomplish that. It's
That
like,
should have a
okay,
name, by the way. It should be a name for, for when you just both get on Zoom and hang out. This should be a name.
but it's working.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is that I feel that my friend is present with me because her little
Mm-hmm.
square is there in the corner of my
Mm-hmm.
screen. And I know that she's working because she's getting a PhD. She's definitely not screwing around. So her presence helps me to focus. And if I'm focused, I can say what I'm doing with this focus time is creating the plan that I will see through to start 2026 in a way that feels fresh and new and exciting and provoking my optimism and my enthusiasm to rush forward into something new. It's not the same old. It's something better for me. So finding a friend you can do this with, whether they're in real life and you meet at somebody's house or go to a coffee shop with a friend and say, let's plan our 2026s together. That would be a wonderful way to hang out with a friend. And it honestly, I think it would be an invitation that 9 out of 10 people would be like, love to receive.
And by the way, now is the time, meaning
Right now.
literally this time between Christmas and New Year's Eve, or the end of the holidays, is the time where people are like, there's actually all these memes on social media where people are like, what's the name for this weird time between, like, it's like people just discovered that it's a weird time between Christmas and New Year's, where people are like, what do we call this? It's like a kind of limbo zombie time. Well, it should not be a limbo zombie time. This is the time where you want to get organized and focused. Now, look, I'm not saying, oh, everything should be focused around work. But if you're sort of feeling like there's more to do with your life and you would like to get a few more things accomplished, then this is a good time. It is a good
Or
time to visualize.
if not work, you can say, I have a client right now and he feels very strongly. We did some inner work to discover his soul is craving it. It's deep, it's sincere, it's beautiful, that he wants to learn and get good at the guitar, but he just doesn't pick it up, or when he does, he puts it down. It's like he really yearns to be a guitarist, but this is a time, and we've been using this week. In fact, I just met with him a few days ago. It's like, build the habit now. You can do that in your time between Christmas and New Year's to say, I have this time off. Let me start creating those visual anchors, creating those positive associations with that guitar or whatever the thing is that you have tucked away in some drawer somewhere that you're like, oh, one day I'll get back to my watercolors. Today's the day.
So we should explain maybe how we got onto this subject too. So this is New Year's resolutions time, where people react one way or the other to New Year's resolutions, and people often say, I'm not a New Year's resolutions type person. And our point is that whether you say you are or not, you are still making New Year's resolutions. That's reality shows that gyms fill up, courses fill up, things happen in January, whether you decide that I'm not going to follow New Year's resolutions or not. And I think that if you are a person that wants to be active in the world right now, you don't have to do New Year's resolutions the way everybody else does. You can do it your way, but on some level, this is a good time to make changes in life. This is a good time. And we should just mention, we mentioned Retatrutide because we're talking about weight loss as well, because this is the time when people often think I should try to lose some weight or gain weight, or whatever you're kind of working on metaphysically.
And in fact, people often say, all right, Thanksgiving, Christmas, I'm going to let myself enjoy. I'll have the Christmas feast, but come December 26th, I'm on a diet. That's a very common plan, but it's not really a plan. It's just a hope. It's a wish.
Yes, that's a good point. It's just a wish. So how do you make a real plan? So first of all, let's just say, let's describe the landscape. There's some crazy things going on. So people should know, you may or may not know about this new GLP-1 drug, Retatrutide, which, by the way, has just finished stage 3 studies. It is not FDA approved, but there's enormous amounts of fuss about this, crazy energy, because it is going to upend the way people look at weight loss. Let me explain. It works on, it's a triple agonist, which is different from Ozempic, which either is dual or single. It works on your diet. So it works on your appetite. It works on your metabolic rate, sort of like your levels of energy, and the sort of balance between the two. And because of that, it causes dramatic weight loss in some people. This third stage study had these shocking percentages, 40, 50, 60% of people losing enormous amounts of weight very quickly. I should explain that I think about 15% of people could not continue the study because of the side effects. There are some, I don't think they are medically serious side effects, but they make life very unpleasant. And so anyways, what my point is that Retatrutide is this next in the pipeline kind of Ozempic type drug, which is going to be more accessible, probably less expensive, and more effective. So it's very confusing. What should you be doing with, like, should you be going on the treadmill, sweating your butt off, and noticing that you barely are moving the needle in terms of your weight when all of this crazy stuff is on the horizon? What do you do? I actually was asking that a bit as a rhetorical question because I don't totally have the answer except to say these things are very interesting. And they require hypnotherapy. I'll explain it this way, that people on Ozempic, people on Retatrutide still have to worry about losing muscle, still have to worry about emotional balance, still have to worry about their moods. And it's clear that you need some kind of program to keep you on track, whether or not you're doing these kind of drastic, especially because you're doing some of these drastic things. That makes sense.
Of course. I have different perspectives from you. I think that we have hypnosis for weight loss and we have hypnotherapy that addresses the root cause of the expression that you described as I'm on the treadmill 5 days a week and I'm not even moving the needle on my weight. So if you're the type of person who is going to the gym, curbing your diet, only eating, basically suffering, I'm eating a salad a day and drinking a glass of water and I just can't take this weight off. Now, Albert, you have voiced the perspective that, okay, a dramatic intervention is fitting. But for me, there is a psychosomatic root. There's something in the psychic development, and it's most of the time, as you know, some sexual abuse in that type of person who is like, why can't I take this weight off? Because your subconscious mind, which is operating cells and cell division and your heartbeat and appetite and digestion, that requires an intelligence to operate, and it's an intelligence that's housed in your subconscious mind. So that subconscious mind had this fear at a young age, at the formative years, that they were in danger. And it's a common occurrence that the mind decides, if I put a bunch of weight on, I'll be protected. My deep inner core, my heart, my soul is inside. I need to put more boundaries between me and the outside because people will hurt me. And if I'm fat and undesirable, I won't get abused again. Unfortunately, that is something that emerges in client after client who comes in with this problem. So now we have something like Retatrutide. Am I saying that right?
Retatrutide.
Retatrutide. Okay, rolls off the tongue. So now we have something like an Ozempic or a GLA, and now they're going to just keep getting better and better. And they'll be better and better at kind of hijacking that internal system that's physically creating weight. But if the psychic root is never addressed, and a pill cannot address a psychic root, a pill is something for your physiology, there will be some other expression of that fear, of that psychological issue that has been deeply suppressed and repressed. If it's not healed and given the love it needs to return you into health at that area of your mind, needs to return to health and wellness. If not, what was creating incredible weight gain and an inability to take it off will just now find another way to be a problem in your life.
Okay, can I say something though? I think that you are right. I think that you are describing though a certain kind of person or a certain kind of situation. There are entire families where everybody is overweight. Those people are not all necessarily sexually abused. They don't have all the same story. There is a problem in North America with the food that's available, that it is extremely difficult for some people, and we shouldn't blame them, to get
I'm
to a
not blaming
healthy,
anybody,
no,
I
but I'm
assure
just
you.
saying that get to a healthy weight. And there probably isn't always psychological circumstances. Though I think that you are right, that if people don't get to the core issues, if there is a reason, a psychological underpinning for weight gain, if they don't get to the core issues, that Ozempic is not the answer, or Retatrutide is not the answer either. And the truth is that I think that these things are probably best as crutches, meaning they kind of help you along the way, along your weight loss kind of journey. Because I just think I have just seen people suffer so much, and try so hard, and everything is stacked against them. They just don't have a chance. And they're headed for type 2 diabetes, or they're headed for heart disease, and it's not fair. And I think it's worth them trying or attempting something that might have clear results. But I think maybe to land somewhere halfway in the middle, I don't think it should be done without understanding the emotional and psychological preconditions. Like most people who do, most people who have weight gain problems often do have diet issues that they could improve. Most people don't exercise enough. We should all exercise more. There is a case for saying, you have to address lifestyle issues too. And these drugs will be dangerous because people will think, and there is a pill coming, that I just need a pill that puts me into shape and then I'm fine.
Yeah, this is the danger. The danger is I don't have to do anything really to take care of myself. I'll just take a pill and it'll be done. And I want to agree with your point. I know what the depth of suffering that you alluded to. People who are really like their body, their self-image, their health, they truly believe I'm doing everything I can and it's not improving. And that desperation and the real fear there, if using these GLAs gives somebody a result, an actual like fast, and they can breathe like, oh my God, I can be healthy again. I can, have a normal body size and shape, a healthy body size and shape. Okay. And get that confidence boost and lower that suffering that was coming out of all of that. Sure. Okay. Good, 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 good. I want people to feel good and healthy and happy and confident and empowered, and I respect people's freedoms to choose what's best for them. And I still caution that we want to believe that these pills are totally harmless and the side effects, maybe there's some, but they're not so concerning. It's not like it's going to kill me. I'm willing to roll the dice. Okay. Maybe it could turn out to be really, really harmful later. Like asbestos, we were told, humanity, when asbestos was being put in every single building, it's totally harmless. It's great. Radium in the 1920s, it's not only is it harmless, it's healthy. It helps with this, it helps with that. Women are using it as makeup. People are putting it in drinks. And then it's rotting and honeycombing their bones. And 20-year-old girls are just collapsing because their knees snapped just because they stood up because they've been licking radium all day. Okay, but it was told it's harmless, it's great, it's good for you, it's a miracle. And we want to believe, no, but now we have studies and these journals, and they've been doing trials and the clinical trials, and it's all scientific method and it's safe because we have the scientific method.
Can I just say something just to clarify what you're saying is that, yes, I think you're right. I think we do not know what happens over 10 years of time with a study with a product that's never been used for 10 years, meaning we don't, these things are so new, we don't know what happens when people are on them for a long time.
Right. And as you said, when you drop 15% of your body weight in a matter of weeks.
Yeah. So
that's really doing something intense to your body. That's not something. It's rocking your system. So that we just want to believe that it's harmless. That'd be great, but we look back at the past and we think, oh my God, 100 years ago, they were licking radium. What were they, crazy? Well, 100 years from now, or even 20 years from now, what will the people of the future be looking back on in the 2020s and going, can you believe these people did this?
They'll still be
Could a
shocked that
pill
people.
that makes you lose 15% of your body weight maybe be one of those things?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it seems like it might be.
Yeah. Or drinking Coca-Cola for that matter. But no, but the reason also, there's some very interesting. So there's a doctor on YouTube who described his journey. So his Retatrutide journey, even though I should explain, Retatrutide is not available. You can't get it now. It's not FDA approved, but people get it. People get it. There's a gray market for it, which is also a risk and might be dangerous. But so this doctor goes on Retatrutide and loses an incredible amount of weight fairly quickly. And he says at the end of it, he was incredibly depressed. And I was surprised. He said, even though he got to what his goal weight wanted to be, he said that it just kind of happened. He wasn't really part of it. He felt like it kind of happened to him. He wasn't part of it. And that he found it to be a depressing outcome, because also I think he had, for so much of his life, wished on the day that he would lose weight. And then when it finally happened, there was no excitement. The point here isn't that I don't think I'm proving any profound point about this substance. I think that any dramatic journey where you change that much requires support. And I'll give some practical examples. Any of these GLP drugs also have another drastic result. When you start losing 10, 20% of your body weight, the drugs don't generally discriminate. You lose muscle, sometimes as much as you lose fat. So for some people, that's not nice, but for some people, that's very dangerous, particularly for older women. If you start losing muscle, you lose bone density. It is very dangerous, and it's very, very, very hard to get back. So those are some real risks. Those are solvable by changing your diet, by working out, by having a plan. Once again, all of these things require a plan. Like what we come back to unconsciously is that you are always better off with a plan. Life is better with.
I want to just interject.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's very important to remember you will on Ozempic, you will keep the weight off as long as you're on Ozempic. You stop taking the drug, all the weight comes back. But as you just said, your fat will come back, but your muscle tone is going to.
That's right.
So
that's Ozempic. You're right.
A customer for life to a pharmaceutical company. That Eli Lilly, we just checked the stock prices before we started this call, 30% up over 12 months.
Partly based on Retatrutide.
Based on Retatrutide. And they're the number one weight loss pharmaceutical provider worldwide.
I think they have become that way because of where they are at with these drugs. Meaning, these drugs are so big, they are what makes or breaks pharmaceutical companies.
Right, which means that if there is any evidence to support that these should not be given to people, these companies, these corporations that are profit-driven and leading by those shareholders who want to keep that 30% jump, they will squash and hide and make go away any science or data that doesn't give them the results that they want. Pharmaceutical companies are doing evil shit all the time. They want you to be addicted to their drug psychologically and physiologically. That's what they're designed to do. It's dangerous in more ways than we want to admit. Now, again, I'm with you in having compassion for people who to have a transformation that happens so rapidly after they've been suffering for years or decades and feeling bad, looking in the mirror every day and just being like, ugh, gross. I can't believe that's me. I hate myself. The pain and suffering of feeling trapped inside of a body that you're disgusted by. I know it's horrible. I'm sorry. I want you to feel better. But we don't know what risks we're taking on when you decide to be a lifelong customer, slave to a pharmaceutical company so that you can keep your body. It's not necessary. We can help you from the hypnotherapeutic side to, first of all, resolve any psychosomatic roots that might be telling your body, let me stay big for reasons that make sense to us, to an unconscious mind that developed it at age 3, 4, 5, 7. Okay. And then we can also do this really important, beautiful inner work of making friends with the person in the mirror, being compassionate to where they're at in their journey. I can have a fat friend and know, I agree with you. You would look and feel better if you lost some weight. And while you're discovering the best way for you to do that, I love and support you because of who you are as a person.
By the
Can
way,
you look in the mirror and say that to yourself?
I think that's what the doctor went through. The doctor lost all that weight, but he didn't regain love for himself. So that was the issue. He sort of thought that would magically happen. As soon as he lost the weight, he would love himself again, but it didn't work. Um, Not, I don't want to say that this is a general problem, but I think it is an issue that without that these things are a journey. Calling them a journey is appropriate because a journey requires not just the attempt to lose weight, but the psychology, the strategy, the plan for what happens, later. There are a lot of components and elements to it, and I think that produces better outcomes, no matter
Yes,
what
and
you're doing.
the development of self-image
Yeah,
is
and
this essential piece.
so let's be clear because we've been talking about clarity a lot too. Is that you can use hypnotherapy to achieve weight loss goals. And hypnotherapy has been shown to be dramatically effective. And that is my experience, that if you are serious about it, it can change your patterns, your habits, the way that you eat food, the size of your portions, the way that you exercise. Part of this also is getting good advice, diets that work for you or changing things that work for you. Making it also helps to have motivation that feels good, that you are excited to go to the gym rather than it be a chore, that you use your nervousness and anxiety to propel you forward rather than it to fester and make you feel bad. So hypnotherapy can do all this. I think we're just sort of recognizing that holy cow, some crazy stuff is coming in 2026. 2026, in my opinion, will be a very strange year in weight loss because these crazy GLP drugs will become so common that people that used to be overweight will not be overweight anymore. They just won't be. And it'll be confusing because suddenly a whole bunch of people will be skinny and there'll be a lot of people going, what the hell happened? You know,
Well,
I
it's a
don't,
wonderful question that you're opening up here is what will happen from like the pop culture body image trends, right? Because 10 years ago, Kim Kardashian, the most voluptuous, curvaceous, bootylicious woman, like, wow, what curves on her. Suddenly, I don't know in the last year, she's anorexically thin. And she is like, people just follow her. It's like she is truly a living icon. What she
yeah,
is, women want to be like her. But
yeah.
I want to be bootylicious. I'm going to get butt implants. Oh, I want to be super thin. I'm going to become anorexic. I follow who's trending. So who's trending is always going to be an elite, a celebrity, somebody, the people of the upper class. And then those of us who look up from below at them, we're like, we want to look like you so that we can feel we're fancy too. So what will happen when these pharmaceuticals, which are becoming more and more readily available and possible for people to take, is one thing that will happen is the only people who will remain fat or seriously overweight will be poor people who can't afford to take these drugs. So there will be a class divide because right now that class divide doesn't exist. I know plenty of rich people who have all sorts of shapes and sizes. So that will go away. And so that's like one part of it. But if it's so available that the middle classes are also, what will the upper classes do to distinguish themselves? Because this is well researched. Like this is how trends form, is that the upper class come up with something to distinguish themselves so they don't look like those lowly commoners. And then the lowly commoners start to notice what they're doing and they start to go that way. And then these people have to distinguish themselves again. So knowing that there's like this way that image and fashion are cycled, even language, these things are documented in historians, I love this kind of nerdy stuff, but what's the implication when overweight bodies are relegated only to those who can't afford the pill that gives you the instant thin body.
Or people who really don't care. I think it's okay for, though, we might
You're
question the
right.
metabolic health of it, but I think it's okay for people to not feel like they have to be thin. That's okay. You can, that
I
can
completely
be,
agree with you.
yeah.
Not only that, but there are body types that look better party, women and men. And when they make themselves thin, it's like, that's not you're not healthy. Put some, you're meant to like, and I love this type of woman. I'm not this type of woman. I think, man, I'd like to be in that body, like a thick, beautiful. If she says, oh, I'm overweight because I'm not a size 2, it's like, you don't, you don't need to do that. What we want is healthy people. People come in all shapes and sizes. Find what's healthy for your shape and size. For me, I'm very thin. I need to work to keep weight on. I have the opposite problem of the people that were really, nodding to, who I would never take. If I lost 15% of my body weight, that would be like cutting off both of my arms. Honestly, that's way too much of a percentage. I'm a tiny woman. So fine, I accept myself. I could look in the mirror and say, I'm frail, I'm skinny, I'm all skin and bones. I could feel bad about myself for this body type just as easily as somebody could feel bad about themselves for their different body type. What we want is healthy, healthy,
Yeah, we
and
forget that.
healthy
People,
is,
everyone forgets and that's what my story of the doctor was meant to tell, is that in the end, you got to remember deep down what the journey is about. And the journey is about self-love, or should be, and self-acceptance, because also respect for our own bodies. I sometimes counsel clients to see their bodies as somebody else, and then they would then recognize that you wouldn't talk to somebody else the way you talk to your own body, the way you disrespect your own body in some ways. Um and I just think that's true, and that we are very hard on our bodies, and this is what this is about, is changing that relationship so that it's beautiful and positive. um
yeah. And that's where hypnotherapy is it's going to be a whole new world for you on the other side of a journey of hypnotherapy, to do all of that while your body is responding in loving good health by losing unnecessary weight, because you're bringing self-love in at the psychic level. So our psychosomatic response will be an expression of physical health as a consequence of good inner psychosomatic well-being. We can do that, and it's beautiful. We do. I mean, I do this for people all the time. And you don't have to worry about, well, what's going to come out in 20 or 30 years that we're going to learn about these experimental drugs, these addictive experimental hormone disrupting drugs that seem like a quick fix. But it's just, for me, it's like, I would say, if you're drawn to that path, maybe get a jump start, right? Like, be like, I'm going to do it for a month just to kind of get an initial burst of weight off, get some momentum, and then take it away once I've already, like, okay, weight's coming off, I'm feeling better. Okay, go into deeper work. Don't let yourself become an enslaved, lifelong victim, customer, paying customer of a pharmaceutical company that's only interest is their profits.
yep.
We
Yep.
can help you in a holistic, loving way. That you're set. You don't need to go back.
I should just mention, like, a few things are there, that hypnotherapy is also complementary, which is it can work with uh, a GLP, it can work with a diet plan, it can work with a program. It is more about the internal motivation factor,
That's right.
that where hypnotherapy comes into play, and especially when things are intense and challenging, then it's useful there.
Yeah, raising motivation, raising self-esteem, which includes the self-esteem to say, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, yeah. I should mention too, there's a few other things that we talked about, we chatted about too. Now there's this other factor, nicotine. So it sounds
Mm.
completely insane. but a lot of people are taking nicotine for weight loss. They use the same patches or sprays that people who are quitting smoking use. And I should mention right off the bat that if you are an ex-smoker, it's really a bad idea because it could trigger you to smoke again. But if
Mm.
you've never smoked or you were never prone to becoming addicted to smoking, nicotine is a really crazy story. When you hear the word, and I did, I thought, wait a second, nicotine associated with lung cancer, all these other problems. And it turns out the real research shows that that is not true, that nicotine itself isn't linked strongly to cancer, isn't linked to when you separate it from the tar and the byproducts of smoking cigarettes, it's not that nicotine is entirely innocent, but it's not nearly as frightening and toxic. And some people believe that it's, in fact, it produces healthy focus, it is neuroprotective, and it causes mild weight loss. Um, and people, one of the sort of examples given of this is a lot of people who smoke are afraid to quit smoking because they're worried they're going to put on a lot of weight because every time they've quit, they did. Well, one reason why you put on a lot of weight is the nicotine was helping you keep the weight off. And that when you quit, now there's no more nicotine and you gain weight. People sometimes think it's because you eat more, but no, it's more the nicotine. So that's also interesting. And the reason I mentioned, I've just had luck, good luck with some clients who do something like nicotine because it's not grandiose, it's not dramatic. It's a little thing that gives them an edge and gives them a feeling of momentum in their weight loss campaign. And I think having momentum, I've learned, really counts for a lot. When you feel like you're getting somewhere and something's happening, it really does count for a lot. And then you can start to see the difference. So I think
Yeah.
nicotine is there. Of course, um, I think if you look at sort of the accumulating evidence, though, exercise is still number one. Exercise is still the be all and end all. Even if you're GLP, you should consider exercise because, of course, you don't want to lose
Not
muscle.
consider. I mean, really, I'm not here to. I have a little bit more tough love in me. I want to wake people up. You can't just, maybe I'll consider working out. No, no, no. If you're so committed to your weight loss journey, you're making a commitment in money and risking your health to some degree because there's risks associated with unknown experimental drugs, right? So it's just, there's some risk, even if they're telling you it's super safe. If you're that committed, hey, I got to lose this weight no matter what it takes. I'm going to take this pill and I'm going to pay good money, a lot of money, so that I can have this pill, so I can take this pill, so I can get that body I want. If you're that committed, then you need to be equally committed to. And yes, I will at least go for a 20-minute walk a day. That's it. If you make that level of commitment to exercise, very, very light, mild, but very achievable exercise, it's a 20-minute walk a day, you will increase. Well, I want to finish my point. The science and the research on walking is quite robust at this point. And they have found that adding an additional 1,000 steps a day to whatever even you're at, wherever your baseline is, whether you're very sedentary or already walking a lot, adding an additional 1,000 steps, which is approximately a 10-minute walk, will decrease all your chances of what do they call it? All cause mortality, meaning dying from anything. You're 15%, you're adding longevity from dying from anything by adding 1,000 steps a day.
Not only that, I would even throw in two other things. One, you should do Japanese walking. So Japanese walking is the idea that when you walk, so the Japanese, it's this cultural phenomena that when they walk, so you go on a 20-minute walk, for 2 minutes, every 5 minutes, you walk really fast, like you're in a rush. And then you go back to regular walking.
Cool.
And what that does is apparently it cheats the whole metabolic factor up as if you did essentially a workout. Now, I don't want to exaggerate and say it's like an aerobic workout, but it's leaning that way. So just going for a walk and then rushing a little bit for a while and then taking it easy and then rushing a little bit for a while and doing it a few times turns your 20-minute lackadaisical walk into a workout. One more thing, as hypnotists, we know something interesting, which is that when you walk, that walking is a great way to work off anxiety and worry. Because why? Because when you walk, your eyes are actually, as an old primordial behavior, tend to scan back and forth through your environment. And this process of just sort of walking and looking back and forth as you walk is also the way that the brain gradually gets rid of its worries and stresses. It discharges
Windshield wipers.
charged. Yeah, it's kind of like free EMDR. So so walking, I fully agree with you. Walking is a great, and so if you're thinking of things to take up in the new year, I really do recommend walking, even though walking is seen as a little bit, sort of wimpy. Japanese walking is not wimpy, and
See, walking is wimpy.
well, people, I used to think that.
I want to emphasize the point that you made. I want to say something that was left unspoken. Don't look down at your phone while you're
Yeah,
taking a walk. In
don't.
fact, why don't you double, or at least double, maybe 10x the overall holistic benefits of this 10 to 20, ideally a 20-minute walk a day as your baseline level of physical exercise a day. That's you're good. It's a good foundation. You can get a lot of progress on just 20 minutes a day. You don't have to join the gym or anything. To start small. We believe in small steps, big results. Then start doing the Japanese style once that feels like natural. But at no point should you be looking down at your phone. And in fact, you can just, again, we're expanding the holistic health benefits. Leave your phone at home. You don't need it. Can you just be with your own self for 20 minutes?
I know we're running out of time, so I want to maybe head towards a conclusion here, which is that we started off by saying we are at war right now. We have a war of focus and attention going on, where your social media, as you pointed out, AI and your social media has made scattering your attention
worse than it's ever been.
Worse than it's ever been.
And it's been bad for a few years.
And it's harder and harder for people to focus. They can't focus on each other. They can't focus on what they're doing. Sometimes they can't get stuff done.
And they certainly can't focus on a clearly envisioned future goal and how to get there.
That's right. So part of the trick is it's funny when people say, "Oh, I can't focus. What should I do?" Focus. You should focus. I know it sounds so obvious, but let me explain what I mean. You actually should go deep into what focusing means. So let me give you an example. This is a fantastic trick, and I'm giving it away for free because it's fantastic.
Give it to me, baby.
There's a great habit called Power Hour. What Power Hour is that you will probably notice, oh, I sat at my computer all day and I barely got anything done. That's because you didn't use Power Hour. What is Power? So what Power Hour is you just give yourself an hour, let's say between 3 and 4 or whatever, where you say to yourself, during this hour, I am going to be extremely focused and I'm going to get a ton done, and I'm going to go down a list of things because it's Power Hour, and I'm going to get things done. And what's amazing is that people do I give this to clients and they're like, holy shit, Power Hour really worked for me. And that is because they are exercising focus, and they're also not doing it the way they used to, which is the way they used to do it was that, oh, time is going by. I'm not really getting things done. I'm mad at myself. So they just have this kind of like, I'm not getting things done. I'm mad at myself kind of pattern, instead of having these focused times where you go, now is the time when I focus. That's why you're right to say, don't bring your phone, because it's actually about creating a focused state. This is like no phone state.
It's creating the discipline to say, I can not look at a device, a screen for 20 minutes. We all have phantom phone. This is something I do. Everything I share here, you should call a friend and invite them to sit in a park and journal with you silently, so you can just share. I'm doing that with a friend. The thing that what I use, similar to the Power Hour you're suggesting, is Pomodoro methods. Very similar, but it starts at a lower increment. It's 25 minutes, and then an alarm goes off. I think part of the secret sauce of what makes Power Hour or Pomodoro work is that there's a moment when it's over. And so for me, when I'm using this and I see myself, I'm like, I just want to check the thing or look at that or do this instead. And I'll look at and I'll be like, the alarm hasn't gone off. First of all, I've outsourced the responsibility of when I'm alerted rather than having to see for myself if the time is up. Is the hour over? I don't need to look at the clock and check. The alarm will go off. If the alarm hasn't gone off, the time is not up. So stay focused. That one way you can take yourself off focus is simply looking at the time and wondering, oh, wow, only 10 minutes have passed. It felt more like 15. Oh, this is hard. Just when the alarm goes off, fine. When the alarm goes off, it's like, I'm free. I can go right back to being totally unfocused if I want. The
That's right.
deadline motivates me. I'll look at
That's
that and
right.
I'll be like, Cassandra, really? You can't stay focused for 10 more minutes? You can't do 25 minutes of one single task. Come on. And then I'm like, of course I can. It's easy for me to, if I put it that way, yes, I can sit for an hour and be focused on one thing. What if I can't? What of myself, of my agency, of my power, of my soul have I just given to Mark Zuckerberg? If I can't even sit in one room for 1 hour and do something that matters to me, I'm choosing to do this for a reason. It's important.
I agree. That's why this is a more of a principle than just a practice, is that this idea of giving focus at certain times, sitting with people and showing that you're paying attention, putting your phone down deliberately, putting it away, not bringing it on the walk, power hour, just practicing focused behaviors will make you focus more.
And it will boost your confidence. You will start to realize I am capable of taking back my power and doing the things that I say I'm going to do in the time frame that I say I will get them done. And when you achieve it, it feels really good.
That's right. And stop saying, "Ooh, I just can't focus. I just can't focus," because you're hypnotizing yourself to not focus.
You can focus.
And wishing that yes. And don't wish that there's some magic drug that will make you focus, because that is not something you want to outsource. Your deep thoughts, those are yours. Your way of thinking is yours.
And it deserves your attention to be developed, to be nurtured, to be interacted with creatively and spontaneously.
Yep. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. The same is true for your body. Just touching back to the weight loss topic. That's your body is yours.
So just to summarize, we're sort of saying it is worth. So we start off by saying, whether you have New Year's resolutions or not, you're going to have New Year's resolutions because January is coming.
And you know it.
You know it. Admit it. And it's better to have a plan than to not have a plan. It's better to visualize, vision, and plan for your future. It is better to organize and structure, and the more fun it is, the better. And it is better to also figure out what your blocks are and see if you can remove them. To plan on what makes your life better, and to face challenges with the best available tools.
And to do all of those things to the best of your ability, you will be helped dramatically by hiring a professional coach, hypnotherapist, or any type of human resource facing service provider to sit with you and guide you through some scripts, some exercises, some proven techniques to pull from your mind, what is it that you really want? And what would be the best way to go about that? Maybe you don't have the answers to that, but I, as a professional, know how to help you discover those answers within yourself. That's really worth the session.
Yeah. People often think, oh, how much does it cost? But actually, a better way of thinking about it is that, how much do I gain by being so much more effective, efficient, proficient, all the things that you would want? And also being able to compare your abilities to what other people get done in these times. I don't mean that competitively, but that's what I realize, that some people come to me because they want to know what other people are doing. And I want to know too, that is actually kind of useful to know what other people are doing, because again, if you're not making a resolution, you're still making a resolution in January because other people are. It's a herd mentality factor. I don't think it entirely made sense, but it sort of made sense. So
yeah, absolutely. So if one of the things that you're planning to do better with in 2026 is update your shape and size, I don't want to necessarily say it's just weight loss, but let's say your goal is, I just want weight loss. Don't give me all that. I want the pounds to be off of my frame. Okay. Great. That's something else that a hypnotherapist can dramatically help you with. Meaning it doesn't, first of all, let's create some protection around you becoming a slave to the pharmaceutical industry. Not that it can't be complementary and useful for a short period, but you don't want to be lifelong addicted to drugs. Okay, good. So we can help whether you want to use the pills or you don't want to use the pills. We can help whether you want to hire a nutritionist or you don't. The level to which you want to go, that's fine. But if weight loss is an important, and fitness and physical health are important goals that you have for the new year, you want to look better, feel better than you did in 2025. All right, we can help you a lot in many different ways there.
So with all of that, I hope you have a happy, whatever the name of this break is between Christmas and New Year's, and a happy New Year to everybody who's watching. This has been the Staying Sane podcast, how to stay sane in a crazy world. I'm willing to bet that 2026 will be pretty crazy. So we'll be back probably to talk about more sanity-inducing.
You're looking for some assistance with starting the year strong, you can find me at www.hypnotherapy.now.
And you can find me, Albert Nuremberg, at hypnologist.net. So thank you very much, everybody.